Hey, this is Jen Rubin, and this is Jen Rubin's Green Room. It's Tuesday, so we must have another excuse from Donald Trump as to why he cannot stand trial next week. The only thing left is, you guessed it, bone spurs. He is going to use every excuse in the book. Why? Because he fears, quite rightly, that he will be convicted. The law is pretty clear. If you falsify documents and you're doing so to help commit a crime, you are guilty. And that's what we have here. We have a lot of witnesses. We have a lot of documentary proof. We have a judge who knows what he's doing and is no nonsense. We have a prosecutor who is determined to get it right. And that's why Trump is freaking out. That's why you have these nonstop rants on Truth Social. This is why every day is a different motion to throw him out, to transfer venue, to get some other excuse to delay. And now he's trapped. The walls are closing in. He can't do anything about it. So fingers crossed. I think this time next week we'll probably be still in jury selection, but we'll be getting closer to an actual trial. Meanwhile, in other news, Donald Trump is now furiously backpedaling because, turns out that abortion bans, a nationwide abortion ban, is really stinky politics. It's terrible. People don't like it. It's cruel. It's inhumane. It's dangerous. Women around the country are suffering where there are bans, and there are absolutely intolerable restrictions on the right to make healthcare decisions. So what does he do? He makes a little video, and he sort of punts. He says, well, right now it's determined by the states. We like the states. The states are going to decide. And you know what the media does? They say, oh, he's given up on the nationwide ban. He's saying the states should decide it. Whoa. Reading comprehension, guys. Listening comprehension. Listen to what he said. He didn't say any of that. All he said was what the current law is, which states can decide, and the most irrational, most extreme states can actually ban an abortion before a woman knows she's pregnant and can leave out any exception for rape and incest. But he's not saying what you think he is saying or what the press is implying he's saying. He's not saying he would veto a nationwide ban. And what do you think he's going to put on his desk if Republicans are in control of Congress? They're going to put a nationwide ban on abortion on his desk, and of course he's going to sign it. That's the people that brought him to the dance. He's not going to spurn them then. So I think, again, we got to be really absolutely on our toes when we're looking at how the media portrays something he has said or done. It's to the point where you really have to go watch it for yourself and listen to it for yourself, because what he says and what they say he says are really two different things. Meanwhile, we still do not have a bill on the floor of the U.S. House to provide aid to Ukraine. And we're getting really close to the point at which there may be a point of no return, meaning already they've had to give back territory. Already lives have been lost. Cities have been turned over because the darn Republicans cannot figure out how to do the right thing and put on the floor a bill to support Ukraine. They don't even have to vote for it. They just have to put it on the floor and let the people who are the grown-ups, the people who are pro-democracy, vote for it. So we'll see if that changes at some point this week. I tend to think not, unfortunately. Now, in other news, it's very interesting. The abortion issue, although it is absolutely bedeviling Donald Trump, has really, I think, energized, galvanized both the president and the vice president. They are very sharp on this issue. And that leads to a very nice development, which is a really good, quick response, a instantaneous response that the Biden administration and the Biden campaign have put together when Trump says and does these things. So when he gives this mealy-mouthed explanation for what his newest position on abortion is, they respond. They do a rapid response. They say, oh no, that's not what he said. This is what he said. When Donald Trump behind closed doors is promising billionaires more tax cuts, they are there. when behind closed doors he is saying we only want nice immigrants from Denmark and Norway. In other words, whites. They are there, and they are making the point. And that level of aggression and the level of energy that we are seeing is something new for the Biden team. And we're also seeing the great imbalance in money. They have the organization and the ability to do that, to respond day after day after day. And as a result, the message finally, I think, will get through. We are just getting to the point where maybe some people are beginning to pay attention. I know you've been paying attention for 4 years. You've been paying attention since Donald Trump rode down that escalator. But the average person doesn't. The average person tunes into a presidential election a little bit before the presidential election, looks around, makes a decision, and then goes back to his or her life. That's not a negative thing. In a democracy, we have the luxury of worrying about our own lives and not making everything about politics. But you have to appreciate that repetition, a quick response, a definitive response is absolutely critical for the administration and for the campaign. And I will close on this, which is Israel. We had the great tragedy last week, which was the killing of the World Central Kitchen personnel, Jose Andres' angels. And the administration came down very hard on Bibi Netanyahu. They said, you must change or we will change our position on the war, meaning they might cut off support. Wouldn't you know, immediately there was a ramp up in aid getting through. Immediately there were plans being put into place, finally, for deconflicting. And oh, by the way, there are very few Israeli soldiers that are still left in Gaza. Why is that? Well, for one thing, they've gotten a lot of the fighters out of there. And for another, I would keep your eye on this never-ending refrain about Rafah. This is this great maneuver that they're going to go in, they're going to clean them out once and for all. Listen, Bibi has been saying this for weeks and for months. This is a way of perpetuating his own stay in power. This is a way of keeping his right-wing coalition together. This is a way of inciting progressives around the world to criticize him, which in turn makes his support at home stronger. I don't know that he's going to do anything in that regard. And we still have talks going on with the Egyptians, with the Qataris, with Hamas, with Israel, in various incarnations, not all obviously in the room together. But I wouldn't give up entire hope that there may be a peaceful, a long and coming, an overdue diplomatic solution. And that's because the president carries a lot of weight. And using that voice, using it in a particularly sharp, emphatic way, I think has had an impact. At least we hope it has. So if you like our programs and you have friends who might like the programs, please tell them. They can click right there. They can subscribe and listen at YouTube, at Spotify, or at Apple Podcasts. Bye-bye.